Good morning. Today, both Kim Lozano and Jillian Robles will be talking about Chief of Justice John Marshall and landmark Supreme Court case Hustler Magazine versus Farwell 1988. John Marshall is the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. He was in fact the fourth Chief of Justice of the United States. He was born on September 24th of 1755 in Germantown, Virginia, and passed away on the 6th of July in 1835 in Philadelphia. John Marshall, before becoming the well-known American politician he now is, had no official or formal form of schooling. He only went to school and studied law for roughly 6 weeks. Despite this very minimal time he had of official schooling, this does not change the fact that he is the only man that, because of his title and distinction of a statesman, was able to go across and create his judicial career. His entire judicial career, soon after he followed a diplomatic mission to France. During this diplomatic mission, he won the election to Congress. This election to Congress being an election very well supported by President John Adams. President John Adams being the one who eventually resulted in appointing him to be the Secretary of State and soon after, in the year of 1801, the Chief of Justice. Mr. John Marshall was a very charismatic man. He belonged to the Federalist Party. He was also rumored to have very good looks as well as the famous debater skills. Marshall is taking credit for making the court a very prestigious coordinate branch of government. Being the Chief of Justice of the United States for approximately 34 years, Mr. John Marshall has many jobs and many tasks that he has to complete and have done correctly in order to be able to remain in this position. One important task out of the many that he has is to give any content he believed was necessary and helpful to the Constitution's omissions. He knew that he was important and that without him much of what was happening at this time wouldn't have been possible. Therefore, as many said, he knew the true meaning of the Constitution and he meant to prevail it. John Marshall was very successful in all he did because he was confident. He was one of the only men who would have been able to say that he dominated a courtroom and who frequently practiced judicial review. He linked the Constitution with national supremacy, capitalism, and judicial review. By the time he passed away, he had served 12,570 days of his life serving the United States Supreme Court Justice. Jerry Falwell was a Protestant minister and political leader who was a well-known public figure. In 1983, Hustler Magazine printed a parody of a magazine advertisement for Campari, this being a popular Italian alcoholic beverage. In their ads, Campari features interviews with celebrities about their first time, this being their first time trying the beverage. But the ads are suggestive of a sexual encounter. The first time it was described really about the person's first encounter with Campari. In Hustler's parody, they featured make-believe Falwell giving a fake interview about his first time, which consisted of a guilty, sneaky encounter with his mother in an outhouse. Falwell filed suit against Hustler Magazine for invasion of privacy and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The U.S. District Court for the Western District of Virginia ruled in favor of Falwell's claim of international infliction of emotional distress. He was awarded $150,000. Hustler Magazine appealed to the Fourth Circuit, but they asserted the lower court's decision. Finally, the U.S. Supreme Court granted Hustler Magazine request to try the case. Thank you.